Hey y'all, welcome back to the home stretch where we bring you real talk about real estate, mortgages, and everything in between. I'm Nina Soden with the Soden Team in North Alabama.
And I'm Kat Frisby with Victorian Finance. We're so glad you're hanging out with us today because we've got a big topic that's affecting just about everyone in the market right now, rising interest rates and what that means for home sellers.
Yep. And before you tune out thinking that's just a buyer problem, trust us, it's not. Sellers are feeling it too. And today we are going to break it down exactly how and why.
And what you can do about it, whether you're thinking about selling soon or you've got a property sitting on the market right now.
All right, Kat, let's kick it off with the basics. Can you give everyone a quick breakdown of what's been happening with mortgage interest rates today?
Absolutely. So, over the past year or so, interest rates have climbed from those record low pandemic numbers that we all
Yep,
loved.
you mean the 2.5% to 3% rates that were absolutely
Yes,
amazing? Yeah.
exactly. So, well, now we're seeing them hover in the mid to high six range, sometimes even the low to mid seven range, just depending on the loan product and, of course, the borrower situation. And every time those rates bump up, it affects what buyers can afford.
And that's where it starts to impact sellers too. Because if buyers' monthly payments go up, their purchase power goes down. A house they could have afforded at 3% might now be out of their budget at 6 or 7%.
Exactly. So even if your home hasn't changed, the number of qualified and motivated buyers in your price range has probably shrunk.
And I'm seeing that on the listing side for sure. Homes that would have flown off the market last year are now sitting a little bit longer, especially if they're priced high or need updates.
Right. And this is where I think a lot of sellers get caught off guard. They expect those 2021 bidding wars, and when it doesn't happen, they panic or get frustrated.
So let's talk about how rising rates actually affect a home seller. Number one, fewer buyers in your price range.
Number two, offers might come in lower because buyers are trying to compensate for those higher monthly payments.
Yep. And number three, and this one's big, buyers get pickier. When rates are low, buyers are more willing to just overlook things because they're saving on financing. When rates are high, every dollar counts. They want move in ready, updated, and well priced homes.
That's why pricing your home correctly from the start is so crucial right now. Nina, what advice are you giving your sellers when it comes to pricing strategy in this market?
I'm telling them to stop looking at comps from 18 months ago and start looking at what is actively happening right now. I also remind them that the longer your house sits, the less you're likely going to get. Ugh!
So just start right here. Just start
Okay.
right here.
I'm telling them to stop looking at comps from 18 months ago and to start looking at what is actively happening right now. I also remind them the longer your house sits, the less you'll likely get in the long run. The market will adjust your price if you don't. And a higher days on market is definitely the enemy of any listing.
And there's psychology in that too. When buyers see a price drop on a home or a home that's been sitting for weeks, they start to wonder, okay, what's wrong with it? Even if it's perfectly fine.
Exactly. So a solid pricing strategy up front is everything. But let's flip it for a second, Kat.
Mhm.
Is there a way sellers can use rising rates to their advantage when they're selling?
Yes,
Mm.
and it's one of my favorite tools, seller paid rate buy downs. Basically, a seller may be able to offer to pay points to lower the buyer's interest rate for a year or two, or even permanently, depending on the loan type and the buy down type.
Okay, wait. Explain that for everyone listening who may not have heard of a rate buy down.
Sure thing. So let's say a buyer's rate is 7%, But you, as a seller, offer to pay a couple of points at closing. That might lower their rate to 6% or even 5.5%, depending on how much you're contributing. That lower rate means a lower monthly payment, making your home much more attractive and affordable compared to others.
So instead of, say, dropping your price by $10,000 or $15,000, you might offer a $7,000 or $10,000 credit towards a rate buy down, which could actually help the buyer more in the long run.
Exactly. It keeps your sales price higher, which is good for appraisal and market value, and it helps the buyer with affordability. It's a win win.
I love that strategy. And we're starting to see a lot more of it right now, especially on listings that have been, sitting for a few weeks or months.
Another thing sellers should keep in mind is if they're buying another home after they sell, those higher rates are going to affect them too. So it's worth having a plan in place with your lender before you list.
Yep. I always tell my sellers, do not wait until you get an offer to figure out where you're going to go next and what it's going to cost you, of course.
100%. Know your numbers ahead of time. That way you can make smart, confident decisions when those offers do come in.
All right. So before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap.
Absolutely. Rising interest rates means fewer buyers in your price range.
Potentially lower or pickier offers.
Homes may take longer to sell if they're not priced right.
And sellers should consider offering incentives like rate buy downs.
And sellers need to plan ahead for their own next move with those same rates.
And if you're thinking about selling and you're not sure what your home would sell for in today's market, reach out. I'd be happy to run a free market analysis for you.
And if you're buying after you sell or just want to know your options, call me. We'll look at all different loan programs, possible rate buy downs, and get you prepped for what's next.
All right. That's it for today's episode of The Home Stretch. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button, leave us a review, and share this episode with a friend who might be thinking about selling.
We'll be back next week with another great topic, and don't forget to send us your questions for our upcoming Q&A episode.
All right, y'all. See you next time.
Bye everyone.